FS Securities, giving you the market report and telling you what you can find in the market report on a daily basis. The report, by the way, is put on the website and you can always get to it. Well, there is a lot of information that we provide on the market report, as you can see here on the home page. That's the first page in the market report. You can click on any of those items that take you directly to the area of interest to you. So without any further ado, let's go through the first second page. There's usually an editorial about some information about how you can actually become more conversant with how the market works. Then I'll show you the chart we start with the American market and see what happened overnight. That chart tells you that, for instance, yesterday we've had a drop. That's overnight. We had a drop. And if you look at the weekly, you can see that the week so far, it's a green candle. So between Monday, Tuesday, we still have a green candle, which means that the closing price this morning still higher than the closing price the week before. And here, of course, the daily, it shows the opposite. Actually, the closing price this morning was lower than the closing price the day before. And then what's very important to us, we always look at the 200-day moving average and the relationship of the 50-day and the 100-day in relation to the 200. You see here that the orange is the 50-day moving average is now below the 200. That is very, very bearish. When you see the pink, which is the 100-day moving average, is about to go maybe cross and go below the 100, that confirms the bearish trend. So I mean, if you can actually look at this from several days before, when the 50-day moving average started to cross below the 100, that was actually an indication that we are heading south. We had a small recovery, but overall the trend is still bearish. And we have some on the weekly chart, those red dots, the parabolic stop and reverse, telling you it's bearish. The stochastic, on the other hand, the blue line is above the red line, it's bullish. And you can always look at those indicators and start to formulate an opinion. Later on, I'll show you how we can actually do that for you. We also show you that if you follow the indicators such as the parabolic stop and reverse and the stochastic, we can get some very quick leading signals about the trend on any particular instrument. In this case here is actually the Aussie dollar. Well, that's the mechanical system that we actually show based on the indicators. The investor, for instance, we have a strategy for the investor, and that covers the monthly and the weekly. When the monthly indicators, that is 5 out of 8 indicators, telling you neutral, bearish or bullish, and provided you have a weekly confirmation of those indicators, then you will end up with having a neutral. So we need to have a confirmation between 2 time frames. For the investor, it is the monthly and the weekly. For the aggressive trader or the conservative trader, is the weekly and the daily. And of course, for the very, very aggressive trader, it can be the daily and the hourly. So anyway, for the Dow, you can see we were actually, that's weekly. That's on Saturday morning, we gave you this particular section here. That's this, we have 3 weeks in here. The last week on the left, it's what we gave you on Saturday, and this is the Saturday before, and this is 3 Saturdays before. So you can see week on week what happens, what changes. You can predict on the market direction based on indicators. There is no doubt that gold on Saturday started to turn bullish. However, I heard this morning that gold dropped quite a bit from 1600 down to 1580 something, and that obviously will change that particular weekly. But mind you, the weekly changes once a week. Then we look at the daily. This is actually the daily, and you can see that gold was actually bullish until this morning. You see, even though we've had a drop, it takes time for the indicators to form. One day change does not necessarily change the indicators. So at least we wait 1 or 2 days before we start to formulate how we're going to trade. We continue to improve that mechanical system that I have designed about 20-25 years ago, and continue to actually improve it. Okay, again, some more information about how to read the market. Okay, that's the ASX 200. Yesterday we've had a major drop. The market opened very, very high up, went all the way, and then eventually in the last 2 hours it started to drop. And you can see that the closing price yesterday was well below the closing price the day before. When you look at the weekly, that is not the case. The weekly shows that the market started to be very positive, closed somewhere above the closing price the week before. And you look at the indicators, the parabolic stop and reverse, that is bearish on the weekly, bullish on the daily. So that really tells you more or less there is no confirmation between the weekly and the daily, and that is actually means that we are sometimes neutral instead of trading. Again, we look at the 250 and 100-day moving average. Again, it's a copy of almost the American market, except all of the moving averages, the 50 and the 100, both of them are below the 200. This is a very bearish trend indication, and you don't really move into the market expect that's the end of it. We are governed by how we read the indicators. Sometimes we can try to beat the market, and we can be wrong. Sometimes we can try to beat the market and we're lucky, and that's very rare, and you end up making money. So again, there is no guarantee in the market anything is going to work for you, except be patient and wait for confirmation of the trends through the indicators that we show you. And by the way, we run courses all the time, and for people who want to learn how we trade the market, how to read signals, how to read the fundamental and the technical, all you have to do is talk to us, and we teach you and take your hand by the hand and give you some mentoring time as well. This is actually the weekly sectors. You can see that the gold sector for the first week in 3 turned for the very aggressive trader. I mean, remember, the very aggressive trader is not a gambler, but he's actually trying to speculate on the market, and he's in and out very quickly. So if you are in the bull market for a day or two and you find that the trend had changed, because the aggressive trader, he has got indicators on the very fast chart, timing charts, versus the investor, which looks at the monthly and the weekly. Obviously it's a long time to change these indicators. Okay, for the daily forecast for the sectors, you can see here the ASX 50, the top 50, turned bullish for the very aggressive trader. Gold, you can see here, on the other hand, turned bearish. So I mean, you've got to really look at the sector and then look at the stock within the sector. I'm going very, very fast. I'm trying to give you more or less a very quick idea about what you can find in the market report, and the market report is available to you on the website, and you have 15-day free trial, and you can actually have everything we give you for 15 days for free. In terms of stocks, this is actually the weekly. You can see that CIMIC, we were bullish for the very aggressive. BHP, bullish for the very aggressive. Um, and by the way, this is what we gave you the week before. And on Saturday morning, we tried to see how good we were for the prediction we gave you the week before. So that is 2 Saturdays ago, and that is the result at the end of last week, not taking into consideration what happened so far this week. So obviously AMP went up, ANZ went up. However, we were actually starting to give you bearish signals. So if you followed the weekly without the daily, we always recommend weekly and daily, but the weekly alone was bearish, bearish, bearish. On the other hand, ANZ went the other way and was profitable. For BHP, we were bearish, bearish, and bearish, and BHP dropped 7% that week. So you would have made money there. You would have made money on Bramble. You would have lost money on CBA because we were actually bearish on the weekly. We have to look and see what happened on the daily before we can actually go into a bearish position on Monday this week. Okay, so in terms of this starting week, obviously we turned around and we went bullish. So if you were trading on Monday this week, this is actually the recommendation for you. But the week before and the results therefrom, it will tell you how good we were 2 weeks ago. This is the daily then, and again you all got to take the daily with the weekly. Okay, overnight and from around the globe, we can start to see that the Dow was down 1.8% this morning. The S&P 500 was down 1.6%, and so is the Nasdaq, nearly 1%. The Stoxx 50 index, which comprises most major European markets, was up 0.8%. In London, the FTSE was up nearly 2%. In Germany, the DAX was up 1.2%. The Nikkei in Japan was down nearly 0.9%. And in China, the Shanghai, because they had very good PMI, the manufacturing figures are showing very, very good results, if you believe the results they gave you. And the Shanghai index in China was up 0.3%. On our market yesterday, we were down 2%. We opened higher, and towards the end of the day, we were actually more than 2% down and reduced the losses to 104 points, and we closed at 5,076. And by the way, the futures are showing that the market most likely will open 71 points higher. Gold down $53, 3.2%, a big drop on the gold. So you can see here, and the Australian dollar will give you 61.4 US, 55.7 euro cents, and 49.5 British pence. And by the way, iron ore price was up 0.4%, $83.32. And by the way, the best performing stock yesterday was Worley, 3.1% higher. NAB was 2.3% higher. Worst performing stock was Woolworths, 8% down. Newcrest Mine was down 6%, even predicting what most likely the gold price was going to happen. Telstra was down 18 cents to $3.07. And by the way, for those of you who follow Bitcoin, Bitcoin was 6,455 US, down 80 US, and that will convert to approximately 10,530 Australian dollars, down $60. Announcement today that can affect the market. And volume, we like to watch the volume. We like to see advances versus declines. This is daily, this is weekly. A lot of information on the website. And again, we show you yesterday the most active stock. Stockland was up 12.6%. WiseTech Global, nearly 8%, and so on. JB Hi-Fi, 4.3%. This information is available to you on the website. And there is a lot of information. You only need to look at the area that may be of interest to you. Before I go, I also want to show you that on our market report, we also show you the companies that have actually had extra volume In the top 50 there was nothing there. However, Telstra showed that the volume was 44% above the average. The average daily is 41 million shares. Yesterday they had 59 million shares and the price dropped 5.4. Price goes down, volume goes up. That is actually an indication that you should really look at to see why. In the mid cap, this company Kogan for 3 days in a row, high volume and increase in the price. So we need to look at that as well. Finally, I want to tell you again, we show you the companies are actually showing the indicators, telling you that what dividends will take place this week or this month. Perpetual is offering the dividend today, and Harvey Norman tomorrow, and so on. So before any further ado, remember that everything I said to you today is for general advice only. Before you take any action, please consult with your professional advisor or talk to us. And if you want to talk to us, all you have to do is call me on my phone. If you're ringing from overseas, 61 for the country, and then you don't need the first 0 on my mobile, but the mobile number is 411 25 9526. So 61 411 25 9526. Happy trading and good luck.